What's poppin', everyone? Welcome to another episode of Remember When. My name is Jose. With me today are my boys, Mary and Giant. Say what's up, guys.
What's good?
What's up, y'all?
Yo, we are back just like the X-Men animated series.
That's right.
Coming up real soon. And X-Men 97. Super excited for it. Are you guys hyped for that?
I have to watch the first 96 one. So I'll start with X-Men 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Then I'll probably get to 97. Gotta make sure continuity's right, you know?
Oh, has he
Real
been hanging
easy
around
topic
our,
to get into, huh? I like anything X-Men related, to be honest. So I mean,
I know you're a big X-Men fan.
I mean, they can't introduce mutants like really properly movie wise. So I mean, if you could do animated wise, like DC has done, because DC movies suck, but the animated.
Anime is always on point, man.
Yeah, they got something
They can do
going
what
on there.
the best thing about animation is you could do whatever you want. Never tied by actor restrictions. Never tied by like, there's what's the CG gonna look like? No, just draw it and it's there, bro. Exactly like a comic book should be.
Yeah, half your animators want union, fire them, bro.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
What is you talking about? It's a cartoon. Shut up, draw, nigga.
12-hour shifts. You sleeping at work, bro. Here's your $15, motherfucker.
This is a shonen. What the fuck you talking about?
Please play your animators, people.
Yeah. Shout out the animators.
Yeah, shout out, mega shout outs to y'all.
Okay, so quick question for you guys before we dive into the overall topic of today. Would you rather have Wolverine's adamantium skeleton, or would you rather have the Juggernaut's crystal, the ruby of the Crysterac?
Sidorak,
yeah. Would you rather have, be a human Juggernaut or have Wolverine's adamantium skeleton?
I go last.
Okay,
I'm going for Wolverine then, because I ain't gonna lie, if I'm a Juggernaut, how am I gonna wipe my ass, bro? I have to wear that big ass suit. I'm gonna be looking like a damn monster amongst everybody.
Bro,
Well,
just move.
Move?
Yeah, that shit will fly behind you, bro. What's the problem?
Okay, I see what you mean. Just run so fast that it just tapers off.
Yeah, the doo-doo just go.
Got you. Where am I running though? Like, am I got
wherever
to go to
you want, bro.
Okay, I'm going to the New York City. Hey, yo, I gotta wipe my ass, but I can't do that. 1,000 casualties in New York City.
That's your choice.
yeah, that's my choice.
That's totally your choice.
That's
You could be in
definitely my
Alaska hitting up mountains.
That's true, but that's boring, bro. Let me be Wolverine. I'm Wolverine, bro.
Okay. I mean, you don't have his healing factor, though.
Okay, then what?
I knew you was gonna say it.
Man,
I knew it.
What the heck?
It's okay, Johnny. You'll just wait.
I'll just die.
Several tons.
I'll just die. I'll just die.
You can't move.
I'm just gonna get infections.
Infections. Here. We'll toss in the healing factor. What you would stick with?
Now we talking. That's Wolverine. Then.
Because I guess that would keep you on the same level in terms of like vulnerability, like to some degree. Because Juggernaut, you're just straight up invulnerable. But Wolverine, you're like semi-invulnerable because you'll recover quickly.
Yeah, because I mean Wolverine can't survive getting decapitated. I mean, depending on what continuity we're talking about. But if Wolverine gets decapitated, I feel like that's it. Game over.
Mm-hmm.
It depends who's writing the story.
Yeah.
Originally, he can't usually get decapitated unless someone else has something to cut through that bone.
So you saying Wolverine? Everybody Wolverine?
I'm going to go with Sidorak.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to go with. Yeah.
Simply because you could use it more, I think. And also, respectfully to Wolverine, the man lives hundreds of years, if not thousands, because of his healing factor. Immortality is not that great, bro.
That's true.
Yeah, if I just want to end it, I'll literally hand somebody else the crystal. I'll just be like, yo, just read the script right here. Then
you end up being Captain America in the Marvel Avengers movie. You just seeing your wife pass away. I'm sorry, I'm still 23, fam. Hell no, bro. Let me go.
Hey, yo, new relationships. Let's go, bro. Come on.
I could be a 98-year-old dude in Juggernaut armor just running through.
It's the future. Who gonna smash you, bro? What lovely girl is gonna say, oh, Mir, you may be like 8 feet tall and like have humongous muscles, but I still love. Who won't love you, bro?
Bro, if Ben Grimm can get a wife, so can I. And for those that don't know, that's the thing from the Fantastic Four.
You know what? I got nothing to say about that. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Good shit, bro.
Yeah, you got a dubs for that one, bro.
If Ben Grimm can find love.
Yeah. I don't even know how you thought about that on your feet, man.
Thing, and he has a love life. What are we talking about?
That was actually so great.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm so Wolverine, though. Fuck Cidereg.
Okay. I understand that. And I actually love that, like I said, that you can like absolve that power just by somebody else like reading it. I guess it's a double-edged sword because like yours, you will always keep yours versus ours, like, assuming like we gate guard like the crystal or whatnot. But we'll talk more about that, and because that's a future episode, Return of the Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I think that was in season 4. That was how they kicked off season 4.
It was definitely the later seasons.
Yeah, that was season 4.
Yeah, that's how they kicked off season 4. But let's talk about season 1 of the series. Well, before we go and any further, spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched this, just shame on you.
Yeah,
I don't feel bad.
I mean, it depends. There's a good amount to spoil, but yeah, fuck it. It's been around for 30 years.
Well, I guess it also does like spoil like some like comic book plot lines as well, because it is pretty faithful to most of the source material, to the comic book stories that it does like retain from, or draws inspiration from.
And just for like preamble, I'm not a comic expert, like especially a comic nerd. I mean, I watch Marvel movies, I watch animated stuff especially, but I'm not like a huge comic nerd. That's more Amir's alley. So any like specifics that we don't talk about, that's on us. So don't yell at us.
Yeah,
man.
we're the casual nerds.
We're casual nerds. Yeah, I ain't hardcore. I ain't got that time.
All right, so season 1, what did you guys think about the first season of the animated series?
Man,
how it kicks it off?
Solid opener. Like, it was really solid. Like, first off, it was Night of the Sentinels, right?
Yeah.
That was what it started on.
Mm-hmm.
Sentinels you already starting off with the Sentinels. That's like a big threat. I mean, X-Men could kill some of them easily, especially Wolverine, because he could sometimes just cut the heads off easily. But off the rip, you see him morph. Like the morph he's like changeling, or he can like change it to anybody, kind of like Mystique. But he dies immediately in quotation, because how comics work. But he just dies immediately. I was like, damn, that should set the tone immediately. And on top of that, Wolverine's getting angry because I was his friend. Like, it set the tone perfectly. You got all that, because everybody's got to assume this show's assuming that you don't know nothing about the X-Men. You're just jumping in. You got to meet all these new characters. So meet Wolverine, meet Rogue, meet Charles Xavier, meet pretty much the whole squad. And then you got to meet the villains. Like, season 1 was a perfect opener, in my opinion.
And they do it in a really clever way for the first episode, because you kind of follow the story of Jubilee in the very beginning in the first episode. Mm. She's just going about her life. And she has all the same questions that we do. She's like, what the fuck is a mutant? What is a sentinel? Who are these X people? You know what I mean? So it's really cool, because it was a great way or creative way, in my opinion, to explain everything to the viewer, because everybody was in the same shoes as Jubilee, so to speak.
Yeah, everyone want to think, oh yeah, I'm Wolverine. No, you Jubilee.
Yeah, yeah, you a Jubilee.
You shooting fireworks out your hands, bro. You ain't that cool. But that's important, though. That's a good point. Like, you need that audience surrogate. So it's like, I'm jumping in with everybody. Like, I'm jumping in with her. And so I'm in the same boat. Like, what the hell's happening? And we got to slowly learn it as we go on.
Agreed. What did you think about the opener, Amir?
I thought it was good when it comes to introducing like the X-Men team, especially something that's more original and comic based, to be honest, because you don't learn too much about each evolving team and how it changes the roster too much. But I also like how they did the Sentinels, because a lot of times it's hard to. And for those that are lost, a Sentinel is literally a giant fucking robot. It's about like 6 to 9 feet tall. It is specifically meant to combat people with superpowers or mutants in this case. And I mean, they're humans. They just have a certain gene that enables them to have powers. So the government was like, fuck it, we gonna make genocide makers. And we just gonna distribute them as best as we can. I liked the first season. I thought the beginning seasons were my favorite in comparison to the later seasons, to be fair.
I did think, to be honest, season 1 is my favorite out of all 5 seasons. I think it is my favorite just because the entire season is one continuous arc. The entire season, it's, it brings up the point right away, right? That they have these essentially giant robot policemen for the mutants, the Sentinels, right? And then it plays out into how it even rolls out politically. It goes all the way down until the very end. And plus, you get some really cool, like, side storylines in there. You get Colossus appears in there. You get some Cable, if I remember correctly, some Bishop.
Yeah, shoot, they throw Apocalypse in there.
Like, they throw Apocalypse in season 1. I'm telling you, season 1 is packed. Yeah. And then you get so many cameos going. I believe it was Muir Island they had went to, or was it Genosha?
Genosha.
Yeah, it was Genosha, yeah. So they go to Genosha. You get like 20 cameos in that alone, So any like hardcore like or maybe not hardcore, but just, you know, big fans of the comics, they got their shout outs, you know, they got their love, their fan service in that. But season 1, fantastic. I think it's the best executed out of all of them.
It's definitely up there. Like, it's definitely in my top 3 easily. Top 1, I still got to like marinate on that, but I'll say, you know, I'll even put it in the top 2. Like, my biggest worry when I was first watching it, because the only time I ever caught this show as a kid was when it premiered on to Disney. Like, sometimes they'll show reruns, but it was like, for me, the same boat as Avatar. If I can't follow the story, I'm not going to watch the show. But so I caught like glimpses here and there. But my biggest worry was like, oh, you're throwing Apocalypse already. You're throwing Cable. Damn, you're trying to do all these stories at once. But thankfully, since I got later seasons, they're able to further expand upon that. And I like that. So season 1 perfectly set the stage for who are the main villains, who's the biggest villain of them all, and what kind of scenarios, what kind of settings are we going to be dealing with here? And season 1 puts that down perfectly.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a perfect term for it or if there's an umbrella name for the season, but like the Sentinel Saga is just what I call it, you know, Sentinel arc. Because that's literally what it is. It's very Sentinel heavy, Sentinel based. The ending is Sentinel based.
Yeah, the final boss is a giant Sentinel.
But that's literally how they started and how they ended. So, I mean, you will see more Sentinels as the show goes on and the further seasons. But, you know, it was just a great introductory and had a great arc with them. I thought it was fantastic. Very well done. And did you guys have a highlight of season 1? A favorite episode or moment or even like a 2-parter?
Honestly, seeing the giant Sentinel. Like, I like the idea of Sentinels, and in the comics, like the idea of the master mold and people just creating something that's self-sufficient, where they don't need human interaction at that point. It's just robots creating robots, creating robots, creating robots. And the whole time, it's that weird balance between, oh, we hate mutants so much, but low-key, we're creating robots that could easily replace everybody the moment the mutants are gone. So it depends on what your focus is at that time, but when it comes to the social thing, they were telling a lot in season 1. Like, even in the beginning, bruh, you got a whole plethora of people. X-Men made of a plethora of different individuals, different backgrounds. And the whole time, it's like back in the day where it's like, we don't want them here, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah,
it was so property. On the nose with season 1 that if you were even remotely aware socially, you could easily relate to it.
Yeah, this show is perfect for both kids and adults. And that's what it reminds me of Roger Rabbit. If you have a movie or TV show that can appeal to both kids and adults, the kids can look at their favorite superheroes. Oh, Cyclops is cool. Wolverine's a badass. But then the adults can be like, oh, dang, they really saying a lot here. Like, they've really, like, there's a lot. The X-Men was based off those social issues that happened around the 60s and 70s. And they continue that, and they keep that message going within the show, which is what you should have done. If they didn't do that, this show would have been horrible. Like, it would have betrayed the whole message of the X-Men. Like, honestly, my favorite was pretty much like the whole villain entourage. Like, we see Sabretooth and how he first tries to like infiltrate the X-Men manor, but then Wolverine like immediately sniffs that out. He's like, nah, you bullshitting. But finally seeing Magneto, and I wrote down like his hardest bar that he's probably ever said.
He's not a rapper.
Yeah, he's not a rapper, but he said, better to die on our feet than on our knees. I was like, damn, Magneto, I feel you, bro. Go ahead. You know what? Massacre all the humans, bro. Go ahead, do it, man. I believe you, man.
Just spend straight knowledge, commit the genocide.
Commit genocide, bro.
What's genocide?
Mass genocide. Let's do it. But yeah, like I love seeing the villains mainly. Like just learning about them, seeing what they do, like what their powers are. And shoot, seeing the relationships, because you see how is Xavier related to Magneto? How is Sabretooth related to Wolverine? There's personal stories in season 1 that keep you going. That's what's kept me going. I want to see how the stories, like, how they get fleshed out and how they end.
And also going off the relationships thing is that you see that Wolverine has a thing for Jean, but not. You know, Jean has some affection towards Wolverine, but you don't get exposed as to what the why is. Yep. Like, why is that? So it's one of those, like, it's a small piece, but that keeps you, like, you're looking for that plot line, like, down the road. You're like, will they talk about this? Like, why? What is their history? You know, kind of thing. Which is funny because they end up getting, like, crazy history episodes, like, in later seasons. I don't know if any of them talked about that. I don't think any of them actually explored it, did they?
They don't really explore it fully. It's mainly like a piece that like Wolverine will be like, oh, I remember it was either season 4 or season 5 where he's like, even though I know I can't have her, her being happy is all I need. Like something like that. He has to learn to let go of that. He knows that he's still her friend, but he can't be more than that because, she got Cyclops. He was there first,
And the nigga's like 300 years old.
True. And he's still like technically an animal. Like he acts like a child.
Yeah.
He's impulsive, too impulsive.
But that's an underlying plot or story element that again people ask as the show goes on, which is really good that they didn't like fully dive into that. And I think that's important. Those small details is what carries a show. And
it's a lot of stuff that they expand on like later seasons, like season 2. Season 2 honestly was like I mean you could probably describe it as the Mr. Sinister arc, but honestly. Season 2 was like mainly a lot of character development. That's what I noticed mainly. Like you got stories involving like Wolverine and like mainly like
Rogue. She got a big story.
Yeah, Rogue probably had the best story in my opinion. Like she easily had the best story. Like stealing Miss Marvel's powers and then having to deal with that. Like finally learning, oh shoot, I could just straight up like put people in comas. I could straight up do that. Shoot. It's good. It's good. And it's like, it's pretty tragic. Like, this show knows how to tell a tragic backstory.
Without a doubt. Yeah, I guess, wrapping up season 1, great season. Sentinel arc, again, my favorite out of the 5 seasons. That's, how does it stack up for you, Amir? Is that your favorite or not quite?
I'm kind of sort of in the same boat as Johnny, simply because, especially coming up before I became a full-on comic nerd, every person was so different from the team and they had like a physical appeal or something to them where you're like, I want to know more. Like Beast is a whole blue beast in comparison to everybody else. I wanted to know how the fuck he became Beast. I didn't give a fuck about most other things, but especially Storm. I like Storm now, but back in the day, I used to disrespect the hell out of it.
They didn't really do too much interesting with that.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like you'll attach yourself to certain characters and until that is fully flushed out, it retains your attention. So I think season 1 is really good, easily top 3 out of the first 3 seasons. Like maybe 2, and then I'll put season 3 on the 3rd, and then season 2 up top.
Okay. And so speaking of character attachment, who is your favorite character?
Oh, Lord.
Shoot.
I mean, I'll go first. Right off the bat, he did not get much spotlight in season 1, but Beast. He really is my favorite. I love how well articulate he is. And he's saved so many lives in this series, both humans and mutants, And he just I don't know why, but I love just how Shakespearean he is, constantly quoting, like, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Like, I mean,
like 99, anytime like something sad happens, he'll be like, to paraphrase Albert Einstein.
Anyway, it means get over it.
It's just his dialogue was just my favorite out of all of them. I thought his dialogue was the best. I love just him as a character. And I love that he even gets a little bit more attention down the road with essentially his own episode.
Yeah, I think that was a season 2 episode where he was trying, it was like a blind woman. And he had a surgery that could help her, but the father's being racist, so I don't want that blue boy next to my woman, next to my girl.
That's literally how it was, though. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that episode.
Yeah,
that's why I love season 2 because it especially like gave Gambit some spotlight. There is so many good moments in that season. Like Beast is a really good choice. I'm torn between like either Rogue because I love that accent. That accent does something too, man. After a while, at first I was like, nah, but now I'm like, yeah, I get it. Gambit, Rogue, Wolverine, even though they do that man so dirty, and we'll go more into it, but I still appreciate his storylines. He's cool. You got a favorite character because I'm still blanking.
I'll say Wolverine has the coolest physical appeal. In the show, I don't think I was a big fan. Honestly, Gambit was my favorite coming up. And next up was Nightcrawler.
Oh, really? Even though he had limited screen time.
It was limited, but like, hell, I can't recommend the first X-Men movie. I really can't. But his just appeal in general, how like he's kind of soft-natured, but his physical appearance makes him look so devilish.
Yeah.
It was just so interesting. But Gambit, I just thought he was sick. Like, his fit was hard. He could just make shit explode. He had the accent. He was getting rogue. So I'm like, this is the man. Like, everything about him just screamed, nigga, dick on the table.
Yeah, man.
Is it offensive to call somebody a Cajun because they call him Cajun all the time in the show.
I was curious.
If Popeyes can call their fries Cajun fries, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's all we needed.
From what I looked up, it's like a subset of like French people that came over to Louisiana. I didn't look too deep into it, so but that's why I saw. So I didn't see it as like a slur or something. So
I mean, I didn't see it as that either, but like I also was just curious because like I know like yeah, that's the proper terminology of that demographic. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was associated with who he was, but I didn't know if that was like something that people would be like, how dare you?
You called him a kid. You like Rogue calls him like, oh, you swamp rat. Like, I feel like that.
Yeah, Wolverine calls him Gumbo, bro.
He does call him.
You know that's serious. When he deviates from the bub, he's trying to say something.
I'll say probably my favorite, Rogue. Out of the main characters is going to be Rogue, but for side characters, it's probably going to be Nightcrawler because I loved his story. Like because he was a monk that turned into a mutant and still has to find the will to love his god. And even though personally I'm not a very big religious man, I still respect religion and I love that. Like seeing a dude come to terms with his own religion, even though the world is stacked against him and he has to find a way to like retain his faith, even while horrible shit's happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think for a side character, I'm torn between Colossus. I fucking love Colossus.
Yeah.
I don't know why, just like the way he was talking, the way he present himself. Oh, I loved him. Anytime he appeared, which I think was only twice, if I remember correctly.
They didn't use him much.
Yeah, they didn't use him much. I wish they used him more. I really did. But probably between him and Bishop. Anytime Bishop came on, like, and I loved the little like cowboy theme that came on anytime he was on screen. I'm like, oh, I was like, I love this character.
I thought they were going to use Cable way more because I know Cable more than I know Bishop, but I'm glad they gave him Bishop a lot of screen time, especially in the later seasons.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Did you see that he's supposed to be like a core element of the team in the 97 upcoming 97 series? So I'm really curious how that is. I didn't read the comics like that, so I don't know like if there's like a story beat that I missed per se. You know, like how they're actually going to like integrate him full time. But I'm very curious to see that. Yeah, I'm very excited.
Can't wait, man.
Yeah. Do you have an idea of how they're going to do it? Like, do you know like what
Bishop or Cable?
Bishop.
The most I can see is originally Bishop was actually chasing Cable. They used to be mortal enemies, and Bishop was from a timeline where mutants were, put under. Meanwhile, Cable is literally related to some members of the X-Men team. Mm-hmm. And he's just a jumper, but he's so stupid powerful. Like, he's disgustingly strong. I believe he's the same, if not greater than telepathic-wise, as Charles. On top of everything else he does.
So would that be like an Omega level
He's
mutant?
Easily an Omega mutant. He's one of the first Omegas, to be honest. So they can use him a number of ways, but I think the main thing is X-Men, they're always time-based. Mm-hmm. There's always a problem, and it has something to do with time. It's like they're cursed, to be honest, where like it sucks that like, oh, like you're human, but you're also not, and you just want to be free of, persecution, all that stuff. They'll do something time-related, and something else will replace it. They're basically doomed.
Yeah. Like, literally in the show, Bishop, when he first goes back, he's like, oh, man, I got to stop the assassin. Someone's going to assassinate the senator. Or I think, yeah, it was a senator. And Gambit's the one who's going to do it. We got to stop that man. Oh, we fixed it. I'm going to go back to my future, and everything's going to be okay. What the hell is this? This is bullshit. Then it's like, oh, yeah, after that, now Plague came through, so you're going to have to go all the way back and do it all over again. I was like... If I was Bishop, I'd be so mad because now it's your full-time job. You're just gonna have to stop the future from going to hell.
He comes back in season 2 as well.
Yeah,
in the Time Fugitive.
Unless they replace him with Forge, like he's replacing Forge because Forge is kind of like the tool guy, and I could see Bishop kind of.
What in the upcoming series? Mm-hmm. Well, I thought Forge was with what is it called? X-Force. That's what he ends up being portrayed in later on in the animated series. I think that was season
X Factor.
Oh, they were X Factor.
Yeah.
No, yeah. No, you're right. They were X Factor. But so I have no idea how that's going to play out. I have no idea.
Honestly, when the 97 comes out, I hope they utilize a lot of them side characters. Like bring back Nightcrawler, bring back Colossus. Let's see some more underrated people like like especially with the cameos that they threw in this show, I did not expect to see like.
I have a running list of the cameos that I saw.
Run it.
Okay. So, not a cameo because they had a whole episode, but Alpha Flight, the Canadian superhero team, right?
Mhm.
So, but Nick Fury.
Yep.
You got War Machine. Kazar is more than a cameo. He actually is like a relevant character in a couple of stories. Captain America, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Thor, Captain Britain, Black Panther for literally a single second.
I had to rewind it because I was like, wait, who is that? Like,
Yeah.
he was literally he's just peering over a rock. I'm like, who the wait, is that Black Panther?
Yeah. So man, when we say he appeared for a singular second, and to be honest, may or may not even be Black Panther. It's like implied.
It's a black character.
Yeah, it's a person in a black suit with a cape crawling up a rock, and you only see the behind view of them, not even their face. So allegedly,
allegedly Black Panther.
Yeah, allegedly Black Panther. We have the Watcher.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, who literally, again, also appeared for just like 2 seconds on screen. Miss Marvel, Punisher, which I actually liked how they did Punishers. Punishers was really cool. Hulk, and the alternate Avengers and the Age of the Apocalypse storyline.
Ooh, and Deadpool. Even though it was
Deadpool.
Literally for like 2 seconds. Wait, did you mention Deadpool?
No, I did not mention Deadpool.
It was literally like,
Deadpool
1
was in
second.
there.
It was literally like 1 second.
Well, he actually appeared in two episodes.
Oh yeah,
because but I think both times were one time was with Morph, because that's the one you were talking about, and then the other one was when Dark Xavier was trying to kill Wolverine.
Oh
and
yeah,
when he was on the bus, he turned into like Deadpool, or like the shadow image of him, and tried killing him.
That just made me just want a Deadpool animated series because he looked good. I was surprised. Yeah, they put like a lot of detail on that.
Yeah, I mean, and they had a lot more. They had a lot of mutant cameos as well. Those were just like the non-mutant cameos that I had saw during the series. I mean, because like they even had Dazzler. Dazzler had a whole, or not a whole episode, but like had more than just like a feature, which initially was a feature in the Mojo Vision episode, which that was in season 2 as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Mojo Vision. How did you? So I have to ask you guys. I wanted to talk about this episode. How did you guys feel about it?
I didn't mind. It felt like filler because. One of the things I was surprised with this show was there weren't too many filler episodes, like episodes that didn't move the story along or didn't really do anything for people character-wise. Mojo was, I could easily tell, I was like, okay, this is filler, but I enjoyed it. It's an enjoyable filler. I didn't mind it too much.
I'll be honest, that was probably one of my least favorite episodes of this entire series. And the biggest reason being Mojo's voice. I hated that so fucking much. It
does get grating after a while.
A whole episode of him talking, I was like, bro, blow off my ball sack. Like, I can't listen to this guy talk. It was awful. But besides that, I mean, yeah, it was a fun episode.
Yeah,
no,
I like the TV style of it, kind of like Smash TV. Like it was like a death game. I appreciated it. It was kind of cool. It was not one of my favorite episodes. It would be ranking down. It's probably my least favorite, but I didn't hate it. Like there weren't really episodes that I hated other than like one in season 5.
Yeah, that's fair. Which I think there was another filler one in season 5, or it was season 5 or season 4 with the Christmas episode.
4 was Christmas.
Yeah,
5 had like
Christmas.
Some Jubilee fairy tale bullshit. I was like, this is some kindergarten
episode. When I saw
episode.
that, I was like, why are we doing
out
this?
of ideas?
Yeah, I was like, what the? I skipped through it because I'm like, it's only Jubilee and kids. I'm not watching this.
I was like, I'd rather watch Shrek if I want my fairy tale fill. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. But Mojo Vision, I wasn't too crazy about that.
I'm really not a fan of filler. I will look something up to make sure I get the non-filler list, and I skip all filler episodes. I do not play about my filler. My big problem is I don't like episodes that, because all the other episodes, I feel like something happened, and then it would continue on, and it built to something. That felt like a fever dream. Like, I could have dreamt that. Like, had you just never brought it up again, I wouldn't even think it's a real episode.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of looking at it, is that, like, if you took away that episode from the series,
nothing happens.
Yeah, I don't feel. Yeah, like if anything, I'm looking at the series in a greater light.
I mean, like the only continuity is that Mojo shows up again in like I think it was like season 5. That's it. That's the only real continuity.
I like that episode a lot more though, because at one point in that episode, I vividly remember this because I was cracking up. Right, there's just he brings a purple dinosaur right just out of nowhere, and Spiral, she's like, a purple dinosaur. He's like, relax, the kids are gonna love this thing. I was like, Barney, I get it, you're funny, but I was cracking up. I was like, that's such a random reference to just throw in that animated series. I was like, that's crazy.
I ain't gonna lie, I think the second episode I got more tired of Mojo because whenever it would like zoom into his face and you're just hearing like his fat moving around and shit, you could hear that detail. I'm like, oh my, get this off. I don't want to imagine that.
But season 2 overall, I do think that is a banger season. I still hold season 1 over that, but they had a lot of great villains. And the Mr. Sinister portion of it, bringing in the Savage Land, which ends up coming back in the future. So do the Mutate, Sauron. But especially Mr. Sinister, he's at the very tail end of the series.
Yeah.
You get really, really cool, or actually I wouldn't say it's really cool, but like an interesting one.
I was boring. I was bored as
You
fuck.
were bored?
The beginning, the first half had me incredibly bored. I was like, where is this going?
Well, it's because, you got like, it's setting up.
I know.
No, I get what you say. You get like Founding Fathers colonial pilgrim vibes in the beginning.
Like, do we put on Liberty Kids? Like, what am I watching?
Are we watching Dead Poet Society? Give me some accent.
But once they started picking, I was like, okay, I like it. It's pretty. It's not bad. It's pretty cool. I like that to it. I like that showcase that. But season 2 was cool. I liked it. It was pretty good.
So, do you guys put it ahead or behind season 1 in terms of overall value and presentation?
I put it ahead just because I'm a Sinister biased dude.
Okay.
You got more.
No, I mean, Sinister doesn't have special powers in comparison to everybody else. He feels like an evil Batman in the X-Men universe, so I always fucked with him.
In my notes, I just called him Future Dracula. It's just Dracula 2099.
His fit is hard.
It is. It is kind of hard.
Being a fan of the comics and having read most of it, like, how does he compare to the comic stories? How they portrayed him in the animated series.
I mean, I thought they portrayed him well. He's a grand schemer. He's one of those background characters. Like the way Black Panther popped up, like you see him in the back. That's what they do with Sinister in the comics. Like they might show like his little, insignia, all that's on his forehead in the background, or they'll name drop him like, oh yeah, Sinister backed this project, blah, blah, blah. Well, why? And you never figure out till way later because they'll just unveil it in a big mastermind plot and then he's just sitting there the whole time. Mm-hmm. And then they'll go back. But I thought show-wise, the build-up was a bit slow, but they did him justice.
To be honest, I'll probably put season 1 to get now more I'm thinking about it, season 1 ahead of season 2 because I didn't mind the Charles Xavier and Magneto plot of them going through the Savage Land. I was like, okay, that's actually kind of cool. I feel like there should have been more of that. I wanted more of like Charles and Magneto like talking about each other, like, okay, what about this? Oh, what are your ideals and your ideals? I thought they would have done more with that, but they usually just said, main episode, okay, we'll give you like 2 minutes of Savage Land and that's about it. But it's like mainly combat, so you're not really getting much until like the way later in the end. Then you finally like see the whole big massive plot unfold. So that's probably like my only like little big gripe, and like maybe other than Mojo. But I appreciate the stories in season 2. They were pretty good. It felt more emotional. It felt more in depth with the characters.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, season 2 was great and just moving the characters forward. You following them, you building a relationship with them, you loving them more, and just them being, I guess, more or less relatable depending on your perspective of things, but just building them to be more interesting characters. So season 2 does thrive in that regard. But again, I still think just season 1, it does overall story just a better job. And
season 1 action-wise easily beats season 2.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, them combating the Sentinels and also them being humbled so badly by the Sentinels.
They got whooped.
Yeah, because like their first appearance, and like you've seen them like kind of crush Sentinels, but then you've also seen like Sentinels just to like mollywop them. Like they created a Sentinel just for Magneto. Magneto was like, oh, you will bend my will. They're like, we're made out of hard plastic. I'm like, what? That's insane. That's crazy way to adapt. But yeah, so moving on to season 3, which you think might be your favorite, Amir? Because this is with the Phoenix Saga.
Out of the first 3,
yeah.
that's definitely third.
Oh, it's definitely third for you. Interesting. Same for you, Johnny?
Honestly, I think I'm on the same boat. I like the Dark Phoenix saga. I like that. I think that's like the biggest highlight. The regular Phoenix saga, I was cool with it. It didn't grip me though. Like there was nothing like learning about the Shi'ar Empire and learning about like all like the Phoenix and what's going on with Jean Grey and trying to see what the mystery of all that was. It was cool. That didn't grip me too much though. Like I don't know what it was about it. Maybe it's just like the story wasn't as gripping. Maybe I didn't find like the Emperor, like what was his name, Tavik? Or it was like Tarak or Tavik. The dude was trying to like get the diamond like that's in the universe. I didn't really find him too interesting, but at the same time, I still like the fact that it like this whole season felt like one giant like arc.
Absolutely.
Even from the beginning when you got like Lady Deathstrike and like they're like it was like a ship that crashed and it's like this like fucking like gas demon or like this phantom like it's just like this green gas villain like just comes in and it's like sucking up the mutants and like taking control. It was cool. I like that. Phoenix Saga comes in. It's not bad. It was a nice series. Then the Dark Phoenix comes in. I was like, yeah, here we go. Now there's stakes. Like the X-Men feel like they're just about to get whooped at any moment. Like the moment something goes wrong, you feel like it's about to be done.
For season 3, which did you guys like more? Dark Phoenix Saga or the Phoenix Saga more?
Dark Phoenix, easily.
Dark Phoenix more?
It was not as long. And it felt more compact, and it felt straight to the point. The regular Phoenix Saga is a great build-up to the. And honestly, having that regular Phoenix Saga does help.
It is necessary. It is necessary.
It is necessary. And if it was just Phoenix Saga alone, I would have been like, oh, that's fine. That's whatever. But Dark Phoenix helped amplify that a lot.
How about you, Amir? Which did you like more of the two?
I mean, I always like villainy, so I'm obviously very biased towards Dark Phoenix. I thought it was still cool, like the original Phoenix Saga, simply because I think Jean Grey kind of trash without the Phoenix. To be honest, like no hate, but she wasn't ever anywhere close to one of my favorite characters.
They definitely didn't do her crazy justice in the show.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with that.
And I think the biggest draw, other than that, was her romanticism versus Cyclops and Wolverine. Otherwise, it wasn't that cool. And I'm not a big fan of like the galactic scale where you're introducing all these people, but it doesn't feel like it's impacting home when in the prior seasons, it was all focused on home. So the stakes were just bigger. What happens out there happens out there. And once you introduce the Phoenix and it's like, oh, well, she could basically do anything.
What the heck?
Sound like a cheat code to me.
Yeah.
Like,
What's Gambit gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do?
Basically, half the people just became useless.
Like, what the hell's Beast gonna do? The most they can do is talk. They just gotta use their mouth. Like, brother, like, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Like, you rank it third. I might be in the same boat because season 3 does have highlights. Like you got the Phoenix Saga, which builds up to the Dark Phoenix, but then this is like our first appearance of Nightcrawler. I love that episode. That is probably like easily one of my favorite episodes with Nightcrawler because you got Nightcrawler talking about his faith, and then Wolverine being like, "God, Jesus Schmeezus, that doesn't make sense." Like, what are you talking about?
I thought that was season 4 when they met Nightcrawler.
What's season 4? In my notes, I got it as season 3. Yeah,
okay.
In my notes, I got it season 3, but I might be completely wrong. I might have got mixed up. But like that episode, you got the Savage Land with like Sauron and Garrock.
Yeah. Garrock.
Some of these names, I swear.
He's literally just a rock. it was most like the name fit.
He got a big man and he lifts a lot. What are we calling him? Strong man.
Dang, quite literally.
Quite literally.
Yeah. No joke.
But you even got the Weapon X backstory with Wolverine. I think that was like literally the final episode.
Oh yeah, so that is season 4 for sure.
Oh, the final episode of season 3. What was the Weapon X?
Was it? Final episode of season 3 was the Love in Vain. That's the New Mexico one.
Okay.
With the alien roaches. That was the weird one where they brought in Rogue's boyfriend Cody.
Okay, you know what? I think we're both confused because here's what I found out. I use my tried and true websites. Did you watch it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I watched it on Disney Plus. Oh, how they have the episodes laid out is different than the air order.
Yes. So there was a script order, which is like oh, this is what it should have been
Right,
script-wise.
yeah.
You have production order, which was like the network, and they're like, okay, this is how it goes, and they just fucked up the whole script order.
Yeah.
And then you have a third order, which was pretty much they took these two, threw them out the window, and said, okay, this is what the order is.
We're like, no, this is how we're doing it.
Because here's where I got confused.
Yeah.
It was in season 5. It was season 5. There was an episode where like Cyclops was like, Jean's gone. How could she be dead? I'm just saying, like, Jean's gone. What the hell are y'all talking about? Like, I thought they were gonna explain it later down the road, but they was like, no, Jean's dead. I'm leaving the X-Men, and then he goes off to like,
the orphanage.
yeah, and that happened. And that played in season 5. I was like, what the hell
Oh,
happened?
that's crazy. I don't know the order of anything.
Yeah.
All I know is the Phoenix Saga is definitely season 3. I know that much.
That's why I thought Nightcrawler was season 3, because like, the production order was
Wow,
screwed.
yeah.
If you're like, here's a good tip: if you're gonna watch this show, either watch it on Disney Plus, but I don't know if they have the right order, to be honest. But watch it, like look up a watch order. Like there's people who've made like lists of like, this is what this should be and this is the correct order, because don't get confused like I did. There were definitely like when it was like the Dark Phoenix episode where it's like Jean came back. I was like, when the fuck did Jean come back?
Wolverine depressed, Cyclops depressed, everyone depressed. Next episode, it's all good.
It's all right.
That's
That was the
actually
experience
hilarious.
back in the day. If you just missed episodes,
That is true. That is
Exactly.
true.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think for going back for the Phoenix Saga, I think just regular Phoenix Saga, I love the characters that were introduced. I love like the overall characters more. But Dark Phoenix Saga, I think you're right. Just like storytelling, they got it. They learned their lessons from the part 1 and they just locked it all together. Like it felt like a complete package versus part 1. I was like, it feels a little rushed certain portions. And I know that's like limitation of screen time, you know, like they don't have, you know, if you're only allowed 18 episodes. They're not going to do 12, you know, doing like Phoenix Saga part 1 through 12. You know, I mean, like that's not in the stars. So I completely get that. But now you guys might be able to clear this up for me. My one big problem with this saga, right? Out of nowhere, and you could tell me if there was a build up to this. Professor X is like, I love you, Lilandra. I was like, whoa, where did that come from? Because I know they had the mental link, right? But like, I was like, oh, that's crazy. That's all you need to love each other? Because he had only met her one time. And that was when, you know, she first appeared. And he's like, I've been seeing you in my dreams. I love you, Lilandra. Like at the end of the saga, he says, I love you, Lilandra. I was like, where did this come from? Like, it was the most like, I don't think I've felt this dead about a relationship since we watched the Ghost Rider movie. Like, I was so uninvested in this like throw it out there relationship.
Oh, I gotta get my
But can you guys tell me, like, was there a better buildup than their mental connection?
Here's my explanation. Charles Xavier is a disabled man who lost his first love interest to another man. So like you know, he didn't get his first love interest. So he's a horny dude. You know, I'd be horny too if I'm disabled.
That's what I thought you were getting at, because I like how you started off. You said, well, he's a disabled man.
He's disabled, he's horny, he's allowed. That's what I heard.
I was like, what are the breadcrumbs? He's disabled. Oh, okay, got it. You're right. I should have saw it from the jump. Episode 1, he loves Lilandra. Got it.
I love Xavier as a character, but even comic-wise, he's never beaten allegations. Ever. Like, all these people he met at a young age, and he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna just put you on a team and y'all can die. But even Jean in the comics, he was like, I love you, Jean. Da-da-da-da-da. I was like, huh? Like, bro, you met her as a kid.
Bro, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, it's not just me, right?
Yeah.
They just were like, he loves her. Just out of nowhere. I don't know. I just was like,
that side connection must have been strong, man.
yeah. I was like, I don't know what was going. I don't know if these were wet dreams. Like,
I don't know nothing about this psychic sex
right.
film.
I don't know
nothing about
anything.
that.
I know nothing about that.
He can't go over there, but in his mind, he can.
You know, and my other gripe with the show overall, right, is that anytime a character screamed, I thought it was awful. Like, especially Professor X. Anytime Professor X, ah!
Oh, hold on.
Oh, you have it?
I hope I have it. I hope I recorded it.
Bro.
Yeah, okay. I got a couple clips from the show, and we'll paste them on the YouTube. So visual listeners, you'll get to see them. I'm just gonna showcase. Here we go. Damn it. Hold up. There we go. Incredible power!
I'm telling you, anytime a character screamed, I was pissed. The only one that did it decently was Rogue.
That was a high pitch.
Yeah,
like,
she actually sounded like she was in pain when she was screaming. I was like, all right, yo, I'm sold. But yeah, or even like Jean moaned anytime she was in pain, and that made me uncomfortable.
Gets blasted.
Yeah, no,
hold up.
literally every time, bro.
Damn it. Okay, I thought I had it because I thought I recorded that too. Because she literally would be like, if you think we're lying, look it up. Like,
This is how some freak niggas were born. Yo, can I get an episode of Gene getting beat up, please? Please.
Oh god.
Story development, of course.
It's all for the story. We swear.
Oh man.
But
Yeah, that was my biggest beef rewatching the show. I was like this is awful. Anytime a character screamed, I was like, you don't sound in pain. Like I'm not sold on it.
you have to sound horny or fucking over dramatic.
Yeah.
Power! And I'll do a quick gripe, and because this is another clip I have. My poor Wolverine. Poor Wolverine, bro. Everybody, if you have seen even the X-Men Origins Wolverine game, or even Logan, watch Logan and you can see what them claws can do to human flesh. In this show, if you see Wolverine fight a human, he's gonna lose. It's game over. He's not gonna win.
It's a trap card.
It is a straight up, they're gonna either find some bullshit to hit him, or he's gonna get smacked across the head and be like, or they're gonna shoot him once with a blaster and he's gonna be incapacitated for the rest of the show. Probably my favorite scene of all time perfectly encapsulates Wolverine's presence in this whole show. Look, so Wolverine jumps, hits his head, and fucking gets blasted. This man jumped in the air like he's about to do something, hits his head on the ceiling, and fucking gets blasted. Like, come on, man. Y'all didn't have to do the man that dirty. It's crazy, too, because he will cut like a Sentinel's head. Gigantic ass Sentinel. He'll cut their head off in one swipe. He'll eviscerate a fucking robot. But the moment a human with the gun comes in,
Bro, it reminds me of Superman animated where they can't obviously show certain things, but once what was the robot that had the kryptonite built into him?
Oh, Metallo.
Yeah, Metallo.
Once Metallo came out, skin was ripping, arms was flailing, Bro, you have to do the Guardians of the Galaxy methodology. Like the last movie. Hella violent, hella gruesome, but was it humans? No.
Not really.
That's allowed.
Actually, speaking of Guardians of the Galaxy, I wanted to ask you, which do you guys think would win, the Starjammers or Guardians of the Galaxy? Starjammers was Corsair and his posse with the literally from that scene that you were just showing with the lizard guy. And I honestly don't know what the others are named, but
yeah, I don't know. It's lizard dude, cat lady, and Cyclops 5.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy would destroy them. I don't think it's even a comparison.
Yeah.
They got more teamwork.
I think Rocket alone could probably beat all of them.
And Groot is going if it's an adult Groot, game over.
Yeah, I don't think that team could handle Groot alone, to be honest.
What about
What
Corsair
respect?
versus Peter Quill, Star-Lord? I think Corsair has a shot 1-on-1.
He has a shot.
I think he has a shot.
If Peter's,
I think she'd win against Star-Lord.
You think so?
I think he got it. He got it.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, man was, I think they had said in his background story he was a major or lieutenant colonel or something like that. Yeah, and I mean, plus he survived in space for years. Like, yeah,
he's a grown man.
Yeah.
Star Child. Star Lord's a man child. That's what I
He
was
said
like.
Star Child.
Star Child. He's a grown man child.
Yeah. All right. Well, so if season 3, or I guess not even if, but season 3, since it has the Nightcrawler episode and the way that you had watched
in my version,
that would be better than season 1.
Yeah, I love that Nightcrawler is easily in my top 5 episodes. I love that show. I love that episode. But yeah, my viewing order is fucked up, so I don't know what a true season 3 is.
I'm just going off of like Disney Plus order. I do think, based off of the episodes you were listing, I think season 4 would be your favorite overall, is like what it sounds like.
Yeah, I did it. At least in what I had for season 4, I did really enjoy season 4.
Yeah.
Season 4 was pretty cool.
Oh, I would definitely do, my order for sure is season 1, season 4, season 3, season 2, season 1. I know season 4 might be like a little iffy for some people, but like there's some like just great stories in that one, just like great characters. I don't know. I love season 4. I love it. They like tie everything together in that. That's what should have been the final season. But
that should have been the final season. But then, season 5 had moments, but unfortunately the Marvel's bankruptcy screwed them. It did pretty bad.
They had to have known. They had to. Some of those episodes, the way you was moving in those prior seasons, you would have been setting up more.
Yeah.
But they must have known they were either getting reduced budget the whole time or overtime. So that probably includes why the whole animation changed and a bunch of other stuff. But
I know I would have cared a lot less on this project just based off the art design. Like there's less shading and less detail and contour lines. And I'm like, that hurts it so much, because the reason why that show stood out so much, it had its own style. It had its own look.
Animation looked
right?
great.
It had a look to it. It had a look to it. You take all that away, it doesn't have a look. Like it looks like it. What makes that stand out more than any other show at that time period? Like what value does it have over something else? It doesn't.
Yeah, we went from fucking Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles to damn like KFC Chicken and Waffles. Like it's not that good. It might be still chicken, but it's not gonna be as good.
It's like looking at the original like Scooby-Doo look to like the current Scooby-Doo, how they're all like big and poofy and there's no real details that make them human.
It's really unfortunate. I mean, and with season 5, it seemed like only like the last like 6 or 7 episodes were really affected by that change, but it's really noticeable and it's really bad. Like
really noticeable.
It's really noticeable. And it's really, because like even Beast, it was like the episode where Beast and Jubilee, they were like out in they were gonna resurrect. It was like gonna be like a resurrection of Apocalypse. Which actually he did come back, but they didn't really do anything else with that. But like Beast, I swear to God, before he looked like a beast. There's like detail in the fur in his face. In the new animation, it looked like he was a human with blue face or some shit. Like he looked like the Blue Man Group. Like it didn't have detail like it did before.
All right, so yeah, season 3, fantastic season. Season 4, I think we can all agree, better than even though the Phoenix Saga, again, great story itself. I just think in the animated series, had to be accelerated, and because that, I think it lost some of its value. So that's I'm not trying to downplay the whole concept of it, because like a 5-parter, that's huge in animation. Like even just having a 2-parter is kind of a big deal, but 5 parts, whew, like that's a monolith of a story, to be presented. But I just think season 4 does it better, because you got the Age of Apocalypse storyline in there, and now that's a story. That was literally, I think it was the first 2 episodes. Every single character, you had Morlocks. So you had Morlocks. You had
Psylocke.
Yeah, Psylocke was in there. Mr. Sinister, Magneto. Like even Wolverine at one point was like, "Yo, everybody's fucking here."
Yeah,
like he literally says that. It's insane. But yeah, I think season 4 is just better overall.
Would have made like season 5 way better, because notice how season 1 you got multi-part episodes. Same thing from like season 1 to season 4, multi-part episodes. Season 5 didn't really have that. They didn't really build up anything.
No,
they didn't build anything up, and that's probably because they knew like we're getting a budget cut. Go to a cheaper animation studio. We're just gonna end on a whimper. Like that's a damn shame, because the final episode looked like it was about to build up to like a mutant war or something. Like Xavier was attacked on national television. Oh shit, what's about to happen? Oh, Magneto goes and helps his friend, and then Charles still dies, but his spirit lives on. Goodbye, Charles. The end. Game over.
Yeah.
And then we never see anything until recently now.
Yeah, so my question for you guys is that, so in the season finale, right, Professor X gets hit with a ray gun, which is about to kill him. Great. Yeah. Makes sense.
That's kind of shit how he goes down.
Yeah. He's fought off like actual space aliens, all this crazy shit, but whatever, man just goes pop, done, right?
Pop goes weasel.
Anyway, so he has very limited time left to live. He's about to die, and there's a huge revolution that's starting right now between humans and mutants. And in order for Professor X to live, they bring down his love life, Lilandra, right?
Mhm.
She comes down and Shi'ar technology can help him out, but she has to take him out into space to give him aid, right? So my question to you guys, in the trailer, it literally looks like they have a whole funeral for him. And they even show them burying a cat or, putting a casket in the ground. Allegedly, might be him. Do you guys think he's actually dead? Or do you think the Shi'ar technology has saved him?
The way I interpreted it, I thought it was like his body died, but like his mind and power, like spiritual force just keeps living on. So maybe they'll have a funeral for his body, but he will still be out there. Like, hey, my X-Men, Wolverine, stop being a bitch. Like, come on. You gotta stop. You can fight. You can use your claws. Come on. Stop getting your ass kicked. I feel like they're probably gonna do something like that. And especially with the way the trailer ended, Magneto's probably gonna feel that like presence, like that
definitely
presence of
is.
the leader.
But I think he's still alive. I think he is. But I think they have to do because you also got to remember he was a huge, public image, Professor X. So I think for the sake of the public, because that's one hell of a story to be, telling the public. So they'd rather just be like, yeah, he died because a human killed him. But and I think that's going to be the ramifications, and that's what's going to really build in that storyline for it. But what about you, Amir? Do you think he's actually dead?
Honestly, it depends on how they go about the whole killing off a character, because mutants, I mean, it's comics. People always come back. But Charles has died multiple times, and the times that he's gone for a long period of time. Magneto has ruled over the X-Men and just been the leader for a long period of time. And then there's times where Cyclops was the leader of the X-Men. So they can go about it a number of ways. My thinking was, if you get rid of Charles in the physical form, there was a point in the comics where Charles and Magneto formed to create Onslaught, which was this whole huge villain.
Yeah.
Basically was one of the top easily over a lot of the other Omega mutants. So they can go about it like that, or they can have a civil war. But it goes about how they handle death. Because if mutants were to just go against humans, people are dying. And even in the comics, Nightcrawler, who doesn't kill people, was out here just teleporting people in space and popping heads. So you can do something like that, which sounds hard, but it also depends on the maturity level and how you decide to take it, because you could just revive him, or maybe he is just a mental image and someone like Jean is just like, oh yeah, I could just put him in another show and it'll be Charles.
Yeah.
The possibilities are unlimited. It really depends on how they handle death and how much they're willing to show.
Okay. No, I think that was beautifully executed and worded. Definitely. So overall, what would you give the overall series out of 10?
Shoot, honestly, for the time it came out, I can't really think, because I'm a 2000s baby, so I don't know what else was really out there in the 90s like that off the top of my head. But for a show like this, I'll give it 8, 9 out of 10. Like, it was super good, super consistent throughout. I was really, because this is my first time watching it. I didn't expect, I'm expecting some 90s bullshit. I'm expecting Transformers. Where it's just gonna be bullshit, filler, Megatron, booty animation.
Shut up, it was so hard.
If you say so. I didn't like it. But the animation was consistent throughout. The stories were engaging. If you have me constantly going I gotta see the next episode. I gotta see what's going on with Wolverine. Maybe I'll get more backstory for Magneto and stuff like that, or Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch and stuff. It kept me wanting to watch more. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I don't even care. I like this show. I really do. I fully respect it.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd probably say 9 out of 10 because rewatching it, I do have a couple flaws or faults, but they're in the grand scheme of things very, very minor. Very minor in the overall impact of the series. So that's why I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
If I could rewatch the show immediately, it's up there.
Easily. How about you, Amir?
I'm going to go with what you said earlier. If they had not done season 5, easy 10 out of 10 for me. Again, I'm super biased because I love comics and X-Men and all that. But the show's just solid. You can go back and rewatch it. The animation's still good. A lot of times we'll rewatch stuff and me and Johnny will both be like, ooh, because it just doesn't age well at all. It reminds me of the OG Clash of the Titans, where the stop motion is very obvious and all that. But I'd say 9 out of 10. I'd agree with y'all, because with season 5 kind of depreciated, plus things just kind of went downhill a little bit. But otherwise, it was strong.
Yeah, great series, and we're all excited to check out X-Men '97.
Yeah, now I am.
Yeah, now he is. Now he is. He's sold out. He's sold out
now.
Yeah.
Initially, I didn't give a fuck about X-Men, but now I do.
Now he's sold. Now he's sold, and we'll actually talk about it. We'll watch the episode or the series, and we'll talk about it in a future episode and share our thoughts on the series itself and what we think the direction of X-Men '97 is going to go.
Hell yeah, because that animation looking pretty. It looks like
it's looking immaculate.
It looked like Invincible with shading, with actual
Okay.
I still love you, Invincible. I love you, Invincible. Just, X-Men '97 look good.
That was a serious dig.
All right, that wraps up this episode of Remember When. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. Until next time, peace out, Remembers.
Peace.
Later, bub.
Remember When is a Sweet Recording production. Check them out at suiterecording.com.
Intro and outro created by our very own Johnny.
Subscribe, listen, and remember to review wherever you are on social media. Thanks for listening.